Welcome, everybody. My name is Amanda Faye Laxon. I am your host today. You are at the Transformative Language Arts Network Virtual Salon. I graduated with my Master of Arts in TLA and previously served on the TLAN board. For those of you who are new to TLA, the TLA network is a gathering place for people who change the world with words. We use the written, spoken, and sung word for personal and community transformation. This can take many different forms, from writing stories to poetry to memoir and more. Everyone who reads today is a member of TLA Network and a presenter at the Power of Words conference in October. Right now, TLAN is offering 3 ways to save on the Power of Words conference fee. The first way is the Labor of Love flash sale going on now, August 24 to September 1, 2025. So that's next Monday. You can save $50 on your conference registration and just click on the blue register button and choose the Labor of Love flash sale option if you are able to see that. If you register with a friend, you both receive a 25% refund on your conference registration, and I'll put all these links into the chat. And if you need a partial scholarship or a work study opportunity, these are available if cost is a barrier. Please submit your application before you register. Scholarship and work study applications close September 19, 2025. And the Power of Words conference is October 3 to 5 this year in gorgeous Unity Village, Kansas City. Kansas City, yes. So there's a few housekeeping notes. There is no tolerance today for hate speech, harassment, or bullying. This event is being recorded and will be distributed publicly, so please keep your mics muted during the presentation part of the program. However, please engage with the artists and the community through the chat box. If you have questions or comments, please write them in the chat so we can share with the artists. Thank you so much, and please enjoy the TLAN Virtual Salon. First up, I want to welcome Elizabeth Shepley and Sarah Sadie. One moment. Let me share. All right. So. All right. Elizabeth Shepley and Sarah Sadie. Sarah Sadie grows tomatoes in buckets and leads workshops and classes that help creatives find new stories and next steps. Elizabeth Page Shepley is a multi-passionate maker, a storyteller, and a steward for those in creative recovery. You can find Sarah and Elizabeth at Power of Words on Sunday afternoon, where they'll be presenting their Play/Ground, a generative and restorative play shop. Welcome, Sarah and Elizabeth.
Thank you. I am delighted to be here with Elizabeth, and we are going to jump right in. We thought that it would be fun to share a brief sampler of the workshop that we're going to be presenting. So this is a 5 to 7 minute play shop experience. And I just want to start out by saying, as writers and creatives, I know we're all familiar with the importance of play. It's well documented that play is central to the creative experience. Just off the top of my head, I know that play helps us stay curious. and it lowers the stakes so that we're more willing to take risks because it feels like it's safer to do so. Play also helps us find inspiration and next topics for our projects and our pieces. And I know Elizabeth has a story to share of a way that play has directly impacted her work.
It's one of these crazy things because I was thinking like what is play by definition, and the part of the definition that really got my attention was to amuse oneself by engaging in imaginative pretense, and I'm like, I do that all day. um, Except when I was developing my business website and branding, that's serious business, right? So like the the child in me was like, I don't know what to do. And I had a lovely human guiding me through the process and everything of building the website and designing it. And she had put up some like space holder art. And I'm like, it's just, it doesn't feel right. And I knew. And the little artist inside me knew, like, it has to feel right. Like, I'm not going out there if it doesn't feel right. And so one of the beauty, has anybody here ever played cloud pictures where you look up in the sky and like, yeah, Steven, you're a visual artist. That makes sense. So I would sit here at my desk, well, not here, it was like 5 houses ago, but sit at my desk and just grab little things while I was in Zoom calls, like amusing myself. And it helps me focus and pay attention, kind of serving the role of a fidget. And I would piece things like little assemblage together just on the desk, not very ephemeral, nothing worth taking a picture of. But as I was like banging my head against this website project, I find myself just grabbing little scraps of paper on my desk and assembling owls because my business is named after an owl. And suddenly, the multi passionate artist in me was like, aha, it all makes sense now. And it's just because I was there amusing myself. And so now that art is all over my website, and it's a place where it feels like home, right? Like it's my playground. I get to go there and play every day. So that's my little story about how, as Julia Cameron would put it, serious art is born from serious play. So, thank you. So that's what we have to offer you today. We're going to have a little experiment wherever you're sitting, whatever you have near you. Just taking 3 things nearby. It might be a pen, a paper clip. I happen to have a little tie, a little squishy fidget because it's and like a little, not paper clip, binder loop thing. And so I'm going to pass it over. Grab your objects, no pressure. This is just for you, something to play with. And I'll pass it over to Sarah.
So as you're searching around yourself in your immediate environs for 3 things that maybe just for some reason glow out at you and say, pick me, just a couple of questions we'd like you to keep in mind. And this is going to be a very open few minutes for you to play, but maybe in the spirit of power of words, we might ask, if these objects had a story, what might they be? If these objects had a message for me or for each other in conversation, what might that be? And again, that invitation to curiosity and to just playfully noticing the details and the sensory information of these objects that you choose, these everyday, ordinary objects that suddenly maybe are slightly elevated through play. Elizabeth, what did we think? About 3 minutes? Is that?
I didn't even set a timer. Amanda, are we okay on time? 2 minutes? Let's do 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Yeah.
All right. It might be how they feel in your hand or how they relate to each other or the design that you make, like Elizabeth said. Where will your play take you today?
Keeping in mind, we're just playing with the idea. It doesn't have to be polished or ready to share. And also, if you have something brilliant that you would like to share in the chat, or even something slightly intriguing or curious, as Sarah brought in the word curious in our opening today, dropping that curiosity into the chat, or that breadcrumbs, as we say in some of my spaces. And we'd love to see that in the chat. Thank you for being brave and playing with us. Thank you, Sarah.
Watching how light plays through a stone. I love that. Thank you. Mint isn't better than cinnamon, and cinnamon isn't better than mint. And there we all are. Yes. My earrings and the traveling they have done. Ooh, stories, I think. Stories there. That's lovely.
So we really just wanted to make it possible, or make it give you an experience to see what's possible with even just like a teeny tiny play break in the day. And all of these noticings are beautiful places to start for deeper exploration and play.
It just makes it so available for projects and inspiration to be immediately available to all of us. And I think that's what Elizabeth and I really want to share today. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, that's so, so fun and so exciting. Seeing what just out of 2 minutes of play can get generated. The beautiful stories that are happening in the chat is amazing. And you can find Elizabeth and Sarah at Power of Words. It's going to be I believe it's the Sunday morning, morning slot, or afternoon. And so it'll be such a lovely way to move into like the rest of our travels and life and but yes. Before we let you go, Sarah and Elizabeth, oh, sorry. Sarah,
That's it.
you, she went away. Okay, cool. Sarah and Elizabeth, what is one thing you're excited to bring to the Power of Words, and what is one thing you're excited to receive from the Power of Words?
You can jump in because I am already excited just based on what is coming through in the chat. I think that what bubbles up through the experience of play is just always really juicy and dynamic. And I think the conversations and the share is going to just multiply that. So I'm very excited. And as I was saying earlier, I'm just really looking forward to being with people and having those hallway conversations and after workshop shares, and like how things just bubble along and keep going, and relationships are forged and reaffirmed and new possibilities emerge. So yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. Elizabeth.
Possibilities, that seems to be my word of the day. I cannot wait to see what's inspired by the connections and the conversations. I'm really looking forward to the talking circles, especially after all of these shenanigans in the chat.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Elizabeth and Sarah. Can't wait to see you in October. Very exciting. Yay. Next up, we have Anna Gall. Anna Gall's poetry and short stories are published in Emerge, Persimmon Tree, and Flapper Press. Strewn Words in the Stew, Anna's memoir as a culinary professional, will be available in autumn 2025. You can find Anna at Power of Words on Saturday afternoon, where she will present The Essence of Lemon, Herbs, and Writing, a recipe demonstration and writing of a blockout poem. Welcome, Anna. Please unmute. There you go. Thank you.
My aunt, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you
Okay,
now.
all right.
Thank
So
you.
I have a couple of poems that I'd like to share with you. My experiences this past year have been lots of ups and downs. We've had death in the family and then also birth in the family. And so as a proud grandmother and great grandmother, I'll go ahead and share these poems. And this one was written real soon, the day of the burial of one of our close friends. It says, our tomorrows may be few. I thought I saw the sky cry this morning. I look out the window to see if it is raindrops. It is an illusion, I suppose. It is my eyes filling with tears. Reality, it is I who cries this morning. Another one gone from earth, this life. Another to say goodbye to too soon. Goodbye is for a brief moment. We will hug each other on the other side. Our todays are precious. Our tomorrows may be few. This moment, I count my blessings while I cry. And then this next poem came just a matter of a couple of days, possibly a week after I wrote Our Tomorrows May Be Few. This one is Someone Knew Something Blue. Someone knew something blue came flowing into our lives. Little river, darling river, you captured a million senses. Hear the peep of our babe, the coos, the gurgling noises too. Smell the freshness like dew in a blue blanket, soft, so soft anew. Taste your softness on our lips, the flutter of a butterfly kiss. See your perfect crooked or hooked pinky. Today, not too tiny, and one day mighty. Plentiful dark hairs capping your beautifully handsome head. Someone knew something blue came flowing into our lives. Little river, darling river, you captured a million senses. And that is the poem I wrote for my great grandson, River Martin. And he came into our lives, bringing lots of blessings to us. I find that writing poetry is, it's very therapeutic, but also not for just me, but also for the reader and the person who is hearing the words. I think sometimes poetry wells out those feelings from our heart. And so therefore words are very important. They bring out the feelings that maybe we might not be able to express in other ways. And sometimes words is the best way.
Thank you so much, Anna.
You're welcome.
Those are beautiful poems about the cycle. I really appreciate.
That's right.
Yeah.
The cycles of life. Yes.
And you at Power of Words, you are presenting the essence of lemon, herbs, and writing.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little, like, what are you excited about sharing into
Yeah.
Power of Words,
So
and what are you
I
excited
am a culinary professional. And I've been writing for years, but I've also been cooking and baking for years since I was a little girl. And so I'm always excited to share a recipe. So I'm very excited to share this recipe. Is very dear to me. I love tea bread and lemon tea bread. But I also, with that, the recipe that I have, I wrote a poem. It was a challenge for a blockout poem. You take either, a document of some sort. It can be a recipe. It can be one page out of a magazine article. And I was challenged to mark out the words I don't want, but circle the ones I do want to include in my poem. And I will be sharing that poem during that time, but also I will be encouraging the participants to also write their own blockout poem. So, but they'll get to taste the recipe as well. So it's lemon tea bread. So that taste is another sense that's very powerful. So
Absolutely, absolutely. I come from a very food-based family and culture, Filipino, and
yes,
so yeah, food and memory and story are very connective for me as well.
yes,
So
very much
um,
so.
that's very exciting. Thank you so much, Anna, for
You're
sharing today.
welcome.
Appreciate
Look forward to
seeing
seeing
you.
everybody there.
Yes. Next up, we have Amy Gross. Amy Gross is a facilitator, story catcher, and storyteller. After a career in leadership development, she rediscovered her hidden dream of writing and her passion for guiding others to discover their own spark and to chase their dreams of someday. Find Amy at Power of Words on Saturday morning, where she will present Look Again, Our Stories in a Picture. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you, Amanda. And I'm really happy to be here and to be presenting at Power of Words. To start off this afternoon, I'm going to read a piece that I posted in my Substack space, I guess, which is called Someday Is Now. It's about my journey of dreams coming, kind of later in life, and that our some days we don't need to wait for them. They can happen in real time. And so this was a piece that I posted about, 9 months ago or so. And it's called Coming Home, Ponderings on My Journey. Where are you from? As a frequent traveler for my professional career, I'd heard this question often. I was aware of my hesitant response. Where am I from? I'm from Nebraska. It's where I grew up, but I live in Kansas. Commenced jokes about Dorothy and horrified questions about tornadoes. Even after living in Kansas for 30 years and raising my son here, I just couldn't think of it as my home. Recently, I found myself driving north on roads I have traveled hundreds of times over the last 35 years. The autumn farmland scenery was familiar, even soothing. The rain pouring down felt like ancestral tears keeping me company as I pondered my journey. I was going home, but this time it was different. I hadn't been back to Nebraska in more than a year, not since my dad's funeral in June of 2023. With his memory fading, he'd moved to an independent living community at the end of 2019. In those in-between years, going home is more like an obligation to make sure he was safe and well, but mostly a chance to spend time with close friends who chose Wayne as their home. While I feel completely welcomed and loved by my friends, my family home is now a granite marker next to the Gins and the Molinas in the Catholic section of Greenwood Cemetery. When I got to town, my first stop down memory lane was there. I left a small bouquet of fall flowers I'd brought for the occasion. Pausing in the cold rain, I glanced around and noted all the familiar names. Memories flash quickly. From there, I spent some time alone, revisiting the places I had once called home. 718 Walnut Drive, the first home I remember. I almost drove past it along the curved road. The priest lived across the street and we were neighbors with the nuns. The sidewalk between us led to the Catholic cemetery, or not the Catholic cemetery, the Catholic elementary school and the church parking lot. I used to hide in the backyard bushes and watch the big kids run around the building at recess. I learned to ride my aqua blue bike with its flowered banana seat in the parking lot. My favorite climbing tree is gone, and the space behind the single car garage seemed too small for the clothesline, where I spent many hours imagining stories as I hung the t-shirts and towels. I remembered the smell of fresh Christmas trees and untangling the lights, one of the few activities with just me and Dad. This house, once very large in my mind, is so very small now. 802 East 14th Street. Across from the hospital, this house was designed just for us with 6 bedrooms to accommodate teenage angst. It was quite modern when we built it in the early 1980s. The angled cedar siding and large windows were risky choices at the time. With the courtyard privacy fence now gone, I strained to see my bedroom door through the long 2-story front window. I had my own bright yellow room and gingham bedspread, a butterfly print hung on the wall, a gift from a family friend. This was the home of teenage hormones, at least 8 graduation parties, family dinners, and now an artificial Christmas tree. Surrounded by evergreen trees, the house now seems less grand. 800 Pine Heights Road. I never lived at this address, but I distinctly remember the first time I came here during grad school. No one was there when I arrived, so I quietly explored each room and realized that simply the essence of my family made it still feel like home. It became the place of my childhood Christmas mornings and summer visits on this screened-in porch. There were more graduation and surprise birthday parties. It was the last home I slept in. Alone one weekend night, doing the final cleaning and sorting to prepare it for the next family to make memories. Driving by now, it's much the same, except the white door is now pink. I was in Wayne for just 24 hours, a time for hugs and remembering as we said goodbye to another friend's parent. I have no specific plans to return. The quickest route back to Kansas, suggested by my GPS, took me a different way, saving 3 minutes. It was still comforting with open fields and a sunny day highlighting the autumnal glow, but something has shifted in the past 2 years. I realized I could no longer go home. Now it was only the place and where my parents are buried. In the last 2 years, I've been on my own journey of sorts, a journey of shedding past places, rules, and beliefs that were given to me, but weren't really mine. I've been discovering and accepting the parts I need to keep. The tender-hearted child, imagining stories while hanging out the laundry, the girl who chose colors that reflected her inner brightness, the woman who learned to say goodbye and still held love in her heart. Though the journey took me more than 5 decades, I finally found my home. Home is within me. As I drove south, I messaged my sweetheart, I'm coming home. So this was a piece that I really struggled with writing for a really long time. I had been involved in a lot of different writing programs and writing prompts and workshops, and that question of where are you from was fraught with things I remembered as traumatizing, things that were sad, things that were hard. So on this trip home, I was very intentional about revisiting and remembering something good about each place. And this is what came from it. And so as we move into the Power of Words conference, you know, I really hold on to the whole theme of the transformative language arts, that we honor a place and a space to tell our stories. But sometimes our stories are difficult to put into words. And so the title is Look Again, Our Stories and Pictures. And what we'll be doing is I'm actually borrowing a number of educational resources from the Beach Museum of Art at Kansas State University. And we will be using images to facilitate how do we look at pictures and what do we see? And what we see is mostly different because of where we are from. And so we'll spend some time exploring that. And then we will use some writing prompts and things and some other images to think about what is the story. And if we, if we look at a portrait and the things that individuals, the self-portraits that individuals choose to paint or include in their self-portraits, what might we include if we write our self-portrait? So I am like this beyond excited to facilitate this session with everybody. And I think this will be my second Power of Words conference. And so I'm also really excited to be there. And I feel like this time, because I'm going to be more familiar with it, I'm going to be more open to making even stronger, deeper connections with everyone else that's there.
That's amazing, Amy. Thank you so much for your beautiful share. I highly encourage you to go through the chat. You may have to scroll up because a lot of us were just putting in lines from your gorgeous essay. So, I mean, I think you definitely need to share more of your writing. And I'm super excited about the workshop that you're going to be sharing, like writing our self-portrait. It's so exciting. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Next up, we have Bobbi Morrell. Bobbi Jo Morrell lives in Colorado, has a master's degree in counseling, and is a certified spiritual director. Her spiritual path has led through participating in and leading reflective writing workshops and contemplative practice groups, hiking and backpacking in the Rocky Mountains, including solo backpacking sections of the Colorado Trail. You can find Bobbi at Power of Words on Sunday morning, where she will present Acknowledging the Darkness with J.R.R. Tolkien. Welcome, Bobbi.
Hello. I am going to share just kind of almost a journey. A good number of years ago, I became part of a poetry therapy group led by Joy Sawyer, some of whom you may know. And I was so excited. She asked what was I excited about starting this thing, and it was that I would find people I could talk to in metaphor. And that has been a healing path in a variety of ways. So we would read poems together, write reflections, discuss questions that came up, free write poetry. And what I brought was questions about my long struggle for healing from childhood trauma. So here's a poem from way back in poetry therapy. And my questions. What next? Like climbing a rock wall, where do I put my foot now? Do I move toward this crevice or that outcrop? Or more like a river, constantly changing. Paddle this way, that way, down these rapids, through that eddy, watching the movement on the surface that tells the tale of the world beneath, out of sight. Hidden rocks, sandbars, clear currents sweeping on. The direction is sure, the ways of navigating many and various. What next? Always watching the river ahead, around the bend, ready to steer the clearest route through the dangerous music of many waters. And then rather later, more recently, the effects of my trauma were boiling over again, and I went back to see a therapist, and he does a lot of somatic work, EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, and it's a bilateral somatic thing and some other things. And for me, the EMDR sessions were very visual, and they played a metaphor-rich movie of my trauma in my head. And so this poem's from one vivid session. Now the black hole opens wide, and a red-headed silent scream plunges, blurry and life-shaken, until the empty darkness splashes into blackest sea. Slowly, unresisting, she sinks to suffocation and nothingness. No, my watching soul cries, reaching useless, misty arms to lift her to life again, to the surface. Hands, and not mine, solid, lift and hold the limp child at the rough surface, black with pouring rain. An amber carapace forms, translucent, solid lifeboat, my child self sealed within, clinging to the floating shell till wind wash upon the shore. I stand, beating my fists against the slick shield, shouting, "Come out, be free." No crack appeared, though. Weeping, I drag the chrysalis of me to the roots of a tree, where we will be guarded, safe until cocooning time is done. And childhood's wings break damply through shame's brittle shell, too weak to contain their glory. And along the lines with the shame, a poem about it popped up in a writing workshop led by the famous Tracy Nichols. And this is where I was in last December. Wintering. To save my own life, let go the old dusty fears, recycled time and time again, echoing a false image, holding me in the smallness of shame. Let the wisdom of my body shake me free, twisting and rumbling tremors that crack the ancient shell, letting in a pencil of light, and another, revealing the bully shame that saved my life once by killing me and must now fall away. It's a continuing journey, shall we say. And a few years ago, when I've been thinking about how I feel about things this summer, I think of a poem I wrote 3 years ago now at a Right from the Soul retreat led by Caryn Mirriam-Goldberg and Joy Sawyer. And it captures something that I am feeling again now. So this will be my last poem. If I can get it. Come on. Why do computers always do that? Okay. Bare at the door, wounded and deranged, hungry claws reaching, teeth bared, framing the fierce mouth, roaring rage that reverberates through the hallways of my body. I want to run, flee the attacking madness, but more, I want to clasp the paw with its iron claws, encircle the vast furry body with my scarred arms, rest my head on his neck, so near the shining fangs, and say, "Welcome home. I'm so glad you're here." Thank you. I'm very excited, excuse me, about the Power of Words conference because in my childhood, J.R.R. Tolkien was kind of like a lifesaver for me. I lived kind of in darkness, but my family was like, "There's nothing wrong. We're fine." So I'm going to share some of that in my workshop on J.R.R. Tolkien at the conference. So.
That's gorgeous. Thank you so much, Bobbi. I mean, the acknowledging the darkness and the poems you shared, like the imagery and the metaphor. What was the first thing you said? You said something about it, we all wrote about it. Find people I can talk to in metaphor. Yes, please, is something Elizabeth wrote at the top.
Please.
And at the top of your section, because that's super exciting and like, you know, necessary for folks. So yes, is that kind of what you're talking about with acknowledging the darkness with J.R.R. Tolkien?
Yeah, because it's through story. The thing that saved me in a lot of ways was story.
Mm.
And I didn't practice this part, so
It's okay. Yeah.
but in particular Tolkien, because it's like, well, it's like C.S. Lewis says about fairy tales, or maybe Tolkien said this about fairy tales, about they not only show the world that there are dragons, and kids already know there are dragons, but it shows that they can be beaten too.
Mhm. Mm. That is a beautiful way to end your segment. Thank you so much, Bobbi, and I can't wait to see you at Power of Words.
See you there.
See you. Okay. Next up, we have Tasjha Dixon. Tasjha recently received her MFA in creative writing from Buddhist-inspired Naropa University in Boulder, Colorado. She is a spoken word artist and has performed locally in Kansas City. Find Tasjha at Power of Words on Friday evening, where she will present Empowering KC with Tasjha, a ceremony spoken word. Welcome, Tasjha.
Thank you. So I have a teacher a poetry teacher who once said, don't do any preamble, just get into the words. So that's what we're going to do. They said, peaceful transfer of power. Like this country ain't built on the bones of stolen bodies and broken treaties. Like we didn't just watch white men scale the walls of the Capitol with zip ties and selfies armed with hate and historical amnesia. They call it peace when it doesn't disrupt their brunch. Call it democracy when the ballot box is booby-trapped. Call it law when the law only holds Black folks, queer bodies, disabled people, and poor women accountable. Peace? Peace like Sandra's cell, like Tamir's park, like George's neck? You don't mean peace, you mean compliance. You mean don't make a scene while we exchange our power like playing cards. But what kind of power keeps children in cages? What kind of peace still poisons the water in Flint? What kind of country calls itself free and robs bodily autonomy in the same breath? The peace that you preach is a lullaby, an anesthesia drip for the anesthetized. I have no lullabies left, only war cries. Because policy kills too. You redistrict my people until our voices disappear. You burn our books, ban our bodies, and then ask us for decorum. No, I will not hold my rage like a secret. I will not whisper justice like a bedtime story. Burn it. Burn the lie of both sides. Burn the neutrality of the moderate. Burn the civility that silences more than it soothes. The social contract was never signed by my people, but it was imposed. If you want peace, then rewrite your laws with liberation in mind. Build the system with the voices that you've always ignored. Black women, queer elders, single mothers, the gender non-conforming, the chronically ill, the formerly incarcerated, those with PTSD and panic attacks, those who cry on buses but still show up at work. Mental illness is not a crime. Neurodivergence is not your scapegoat. Anxiety is not apathy, and depression is not defeat. This peace that you keep prescribing like a pill too bitter to swallow comes with side effects that we were never warned about. Exhaustion, re-traumatization, disassociation from self and spirit. Your version of order requires our erasure. Your calm is killing us slowly. Give up power, not just the seat, but the systems that uphold it. Until then, call it what it is, a handoff of empire, not peace. I don't breathe easy in America because breathing is a political act when you're born brown and poor and female, because somewhere in some meeting, my breath was calculated, commodified, and regulated. Every inhale is a negotiation, every exhale a resistance. What y'all call order, I know as oppression dressed in khakis and campaign buttons. You outlaw masks in schools while hoarding oxygen in prisons. You ban books. You don't ban bullets. You feed your kids chicken nuggets and call it patriotism while ours get metal detectors and trauma-informed lesson plans. This ain't justice. It's just discipline for the underclass. It's the reproduction of hierarchy in homerooms and hospitals and courtrooms and clinics and salaries and sentencing. You tell me to be civil, but civility never saved a single Black girl that I know. Civility didn't stop the bullets in Buffalo, didn't raise Tyree from the pavement, didn't keep Shanquella safe. And don't get me started on the way you talk to women. When we demand to live outside the confines of your control, we are too loud, too ungrateful, too much when we speak our pain with precision. You pathologize our protest, diagnose us instead of listening. We scream into the void and you call it a tantrum. I won't be civil while ICE knocks on doors at 5 a.m. or while states criminalize the breath of trans children. I won't be polite while you write laws that criminalize miscarriage and let rapists retire with pensions. You call it peace. I call it social control. You call it democracy. I call it a stage play with a rigged script. My breath is not yours to organize. My voice is not a guest in this republic. It is an eviction notice served to empire. I do not consent to silence. I do not co-sign your version of care that excludes our grief, our noise, our neurodivergence. Inhale, disobey. Exhale, survive. I stopped standing for the anthem a long time ago, not just because the third verse glorifies slavery, but because my spine remembers boot camp, even though I was never deployed into combat, because even without a battlefield, there was always a war against my body. Not metaphorical, not imagined, real. There was always a war against my female form, from military barracks to VA waiting rooms, from catcalls to cold dismissals of my pain. They didn't need bombs to break me, just paperwork and silence. Just rank and rape culture and chain of command. Just the way they turned my body into a secret they refused to honor, and then labeled me angry when I spoke it out loud. My soul still shakes from war, a war I was never allowed to name. You wave the flag while I hold the urns. You grill hot dogs while I call the suicide hotline. You thank me for my service, but forgot my humanity. Support the troops don't mean shit when the troops come home to foreclosure, food stamps, and bureaucracy that bites like frostbite. Military sexual trauma survivors, silenced. Brown soldiers, profiled. Queer vets, othered. We fought your wars, but we ain't welcome in your peace. You write prescriptions instead of reparations. You send us to therapy and then cut the funding. You say self-care, but we still can't get seen by a doctor in under 6 months. Some of us never left the battlefield. It followed us home, and it lives in our dreams, in our joints, in the pills lined up like quiet soldiers on the nightstand. I don't wear pink anymore. Bright colors disappeared the day Trump was elected again. My closet mourned before my mouth could speak. Now I wear black, not for fashion, for survival, for clarity, for truth, because nothing feels bright in a country this dark. They've always sold liberation like a luxury brand. They've always told us we can have it later when we're more reasonable, more respectful, less loud, less us. Let me be clear. I am not your mascot. I am not your moment of moral clarity. I'm a storm in boots. I'm a memory that won't fade. I'm the voice in the back of your mind asking what freedom really costs and who keeps paying the bill. I've been called a word wizard, like I'm conjuring metaphors, but I'm conjuring survival. I'm building bridges from trauma to truth so my students don't drown in gaslight and guilt. Thank you.
Thank you, Tasjha.
Yep, thank you.
You, yeah. Just, we're all gonna
That's the
take a
feedback.
breath.
That's the
Yes.
feedback I usually get.
Yeah. No, like we're gonna all take a collective breath because I think we need it. We need to hear it and to absorb it and check out the comments. Lots of lines, lots of lines.
Thank
It
you.
was awesome. Thank you,
Thank you.
Tasjha.
Thank you.
You will be presenting at Power Of Words
Mm-hmm.
at the opening ceremony, yeah?
Yeah.
How does the how does protest this is gonna be such a big question, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
How does protest equal care
Mm.
and empowerment?
Mm-hmm. To me, protest is a form of care, right? Typically care for community, right? Which is why, people will come together for a cause like that. We must speak. Like, I think that's the care aspect of it, is staying silent about things or being afraid to approach certain topics or, just whatever the situation. Our fear doesn't protect us, right? It just keeps us silent and it lets whatever is being perpetrated to continue. So, from my perspective, care and protest are in the exact same, vein. Yeah.
Thank you for your voice,
Thank
for
you.
speaking your words into this space, and I can't wait to
Thank
have
you so
you
much.
kick us off in October.
Thank
Appreciate you.
so much. Yep.
Thank you.
Oh, I was just going to mention too, I'm one of the MCs, so that'll be fun for the
That's
conference.
awesome.
Yeah, so
Cool.
it should be a good
Very
time.
cool.
Thank you.
Well, definitely. All right. Thanks, Tasjha.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have Beth Bando, author, theater, and eco artist, guide for personal growth. She is inspired by a belief in cultural healing to create spirit-lifting, thought-provoking projects. Speaking events include New Life Expo in NYC now, and seminars she has developed for decades. Books include Dare to Be Fair, Embracing the Power of Inwards, and What I Learned from an Onion, Big Wisdom from Little Things. You can find Beth at Power of Words on Sunday morning, where she will present Word Power Meets Four Direction Wisdom. Welcome, Beth.
Hi. Okay, so I am a theater artist turned writer, eco-artist, creator of seminars for artistic and spiritual growth. This piece actually happened to me. I actually saw this phenomenon. I created a character by the name of Sam to tell the story. And I've been blessed to be able to perform it at the United Solo Festival in New York City and Fort Worth Fringe Festival where I live. You will definitely see the performative aspect of it. So I was busy, see? You know, like everybody is busy, but it seemed like I didn't have time to go do the things that I needed to do before I needed to go to the next things that I needed to do that I didn't have time for either. Busy, running errands, on my way to the CVS, stuck in traffic, only 2 blocks from my house, and my 25% discount ends today, and that makes a difference towards your shampoo and toothpaste and can of nuts. All right, I'm here in the CVS, and woohoo, baby, there is my favorite parking place. Do you do that? Do you have a favorite parking space in your frequent destinations? Well, I do, and this was it, and I was just getting ready to slide into it when something caught my attention out of the corner of my eye. But it was something in the sky. So forget that old prime parking place. Drive into the parking hinterlands where you can still see the horizon. All right, now, what am I seeing? Blue sky, no clouds, no rain. Rain wasn't even in the forecast, but what am I seeing? I am seeing a big old huge rainbow in the sky. Now I know what you're thinking, you know, the little half circle rainbows that we normally see. This was a full rainbow circle in the sky, except for the very bottom where it was touching the horizon with a sun, a setting sun right in the center. All right, now hold on. Oh, holy moly, there is more. There's another rainbow. Now, I know you're thinking double rainbow. Here's a rainbow on top. No, no, no. Think clock face at the 12 o'clock point. Another rainbow was attached. It's an upside down rainbow. It's an inverted rainbow. It's a rainbow reaching up into the sky. Oh, okay, holy moly. Oh, there is more. My eyes are adjusting, or maybe just my ability to see. There's another rainbow. Only this one is attached at that 9 o'clock point, and it's facing west. It's on its side, a sideways rainbow in the sky. Am I the only one seeing all of this? Where's all the other cars that should be stopping to watch this? I scan where I'm looking, and you know what I see? People. Busy people, too busy to notice what must be a freaking miracle in the sky. Driving like there's no tomorrow, 'cause they gotta buy shampoo too. Oh, okay, now wait a minute. Now I see 2 shiny lights, like on the 3 and the 9 o'clock points, they're like suns, little teeny suns, little teeny meeny suns, maybe like the size of an orange or a cantaloupe. Oh man, am I the only one seeing this? All I know is that I should be stopping all the crazy busyness and being and looking at this thing in the sky. This is what awesome is. Oh, I may be a frenzied fool running and running all the time, but I'm not being a fool right now. I am here. This is telling me my life is going to change. I don't know how, and it doesn't matter. Those 2 little lights on the side are making a doorway. And I am walking through. Walking right into the sky. Headed right for that sun bright center. Thank you.
Yay, beautiful. That imagery is stunning. And I believe you told me that it was based on you actually seeing this in a CVS parking lot.
I did in a CVS parking lot. And in fact, I called my husband and said, go into the backyard. He said, what? I said, go into the backyard. Okay, why? Look up. Because I didn't know if anybody else could see it. And he could.
He could see it. I'm like,
It's called a
Yeah.
sundial. It's called a
a
sundial.
sundial.
Just magic. Just earth magic.
That's incredible. That's incredible. The way you wrote it is gorgeous, and look at the lines that people are
Oh, I can't
pointing.
wait.
Yes,
Wait.
it's awesome. So you're presenting Word Power Meets 4-Direction Wisdom. What are you excited to share at the conference?
Well, first off, I am just really excited to meet everybody. When I started to go to Goddard College to get my MFA in interdisciplinary art, did you? All right.
I got an MA, yeah.
And of course, I just met Caryn a couple of years ago when Goddard closed, when Goddard folded. So I came up with this term called transformative art, and I didn't know anybody else was doing it too. I didn't know there was any such a thing as transformative language. So I have written a book called Dare to Be Fair, Embracing the Power of Words, and it's a 33-step process of just looking at how we talk and other people talk. And each day has a prompt for things to try or things to avoid. So as a group, we're going to choose about 4 of those in honor of the 4 directions and put them on what I have been given to share from my elder and teacher, grandmother Twyla Nitch. And we will put these on the 4 directions. So it's going to give us information as a group about what inspires us, gives us stability, allows us to achieve our goals, and what our sources of wisdom are. And then, of course, we'll have time to use them as writing prompts.
I love that. I love that you found us.
We
Even if you were already doing the work. That's kind of the magic of all of this, is the
so
transformative.
much the magic of all of this. And notice you did a circle with your hand, like that rainbow circle in the sky. Really glad to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Beth, for sharing. See you in October. Next up, we have Kelly Dumar. Kelly is a poet, playwright, and workshop facilitator from Boston. Author of 4 poetry collections, her poems are published in Bellevue Literary Review, Tupelo Quarterly, Thrush, Flock, One Art, and more. Kelly teaches creative writing workshops for the International Women's Writing Guild and the Transformative Language Arts Network. You can find Kelly at Power of Words on Saturday afternoon, where she'll present Putting Our Grandmothers on the Page, poetry, prose, and persona. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you, Amanda. It's a pleasure, honor to be here. Well, I can say in all honesty, coming this later part of the program, how special it's been to hear everybody who has gone before me. And what I want to do today is I want to read some grandmother related poems. So we may not all be grandmothers, but we all have grandmother energy in us. That's because we're all granddaughters. It's part of our matrilineal heritage. And the program I'm going to present for the Power of Words will be to really engage with grandmother energy and whatever that means to us. So one of the things that happened for me, I did become a grandmother in 2020 during the pandemic. And what happened just as the pandemic struck the land, my daughter left an abusive husband and she was pregnant. And what she did was she made a garden. So this poem is called Misadventure with Peas. Sow your sugar snaps before May, Old Farmer's Almanac. Finally, you drive away. Come home, he commands. It's Valentine's Day. But leap year, order your seeds to be delivered elsewhere. Blastocyst, marriage, a cell is dividing inside you. Middlemarch, gone where you claim 1 whole half acre, a field of frozen soil, your belly fruiting a flat cake, placenta. April 1st garden, new garden, late garden, your own. Work fast and far, dawn to moon, plunge your hole digger in soil. Fence your unskilled plot. May Day is the day to roto-till your mind off old Valentine and dog you left behind. Root up crabgrass and rocks, pitch stone by useless stone over your border. Mother's Day, here where a load is delivered, organic manure, shovel it into upturned dirt. Bees, birds, and worms of your world, let his ring, 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 ring into shush. Belly swells bronze under sun. Scalp sprouts lanugo. Enlarging brain tells foot to kick. Oh, June, sleep, then wake in daybreak, your garden bed. Blue-born sky hangs inches from your nose. A red-tail hawk spirals. Mattressy layers of leaf matter amend the soil beneath you. A knot, a pea bruises the curve of your back. Rise and plant, tap the whole seed pack into upright palm, pinch each knobby kernel into rows. Independence Day, his urgent texts run along tripwires to coil you. His dog has died, he craves his wife. Watch your watermelon, how it gains stripes and weight, no turning back. Lip pink fruit ripens inside a rind. By Labor Day, yellowed peas refuse to climb, and yet you have not strung your trellises in vain. red willow sticks you cut all straight, untwined your spool, kneeled you under sanguine moon, October, rise here, squall, rain gush, pumpkin wash, howl, brow, chin, chest, spine, cordvine, newborn. I want to read now a poem about playing multiple roles and the insight that we get from the role, in which I, grandmother, play woodcutter and wolf. Children, their feet on damp leaves, watch awed under trees with their sweet-smelling noses on Red's basket of fresh-baked. I, as woodcutter, stride from the grove to warn her of treachery. Wolf is eyeing and nosing and praying your goodies. Then I run to the brook, throw off my hunting vest, pull over my head, my fur hood, my grandmother's spectacles, shawl, and I crouch in a bed of raked leaves. Oh, granddaughter, what delicious you've brought me to eat. I offer my paw, but she sees me through fur. Your eyes sting of pine cone, your ears leak of worm drop, your teeth slick of tree sap. And when I, as wolf, grab the goods, the children hate chase me through dead leaves for trickery, and the birthday boy screams knives with fierce eyes at me. I try to throw off my disguise, but he drags me to Red to surrender her basket. The children, craving a way to forgive me with one of the cookies, demand I be sorry. I, as wolf, know when to act. Sorry, I fake from under my fur. And one more that I will read is a poem called Beach of Var with Poe. We're swimming for shore from our anchored boat. Poe tells me her dream of last night. Daughter's lush hair falls in a loose mess down her back. Poe gathers strands in her hands, tries to braid, but all the daughter hair slips through her fingers. Girls we birthed into women. On the sandless beach we lie down, face up to the cirrus. Backs burn, ovals of limestone, clean as clouds, hot from noon sun. Who says we can't take it? Bed of stones over eons formed, we're a weight upon them. Poe puts a hot, flat, white one, big as her palm, on her bare sternum. I do the same. Burning our breastbones, stones over bones, lids, lips, upturned palms, pairs of our wombs. Our own mothers, where every cell of skin we're searing now began, are ripened, dried, and gone. Stones fall as we stand. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kelly. That was lovely. I would love for you to unpack grandmother energy, if you can.
Well, I think it's different from all of us. And wouldn't it be interesting to know that somehow we could become grandmothers before becoming mothers? Wouldn't that be the right way of sort of going about it with all that wisdom? It's hard earned and it's learned. Grandmother energy, you know, we all have, I think, a deep longing for connection with grandmother archetype. It's grandmother is an archetype, and we may or may not feel connected to our grandmothers. We have them, but sometimes we don't know them, and that doesn't mean we don't long for them. And I was presenting last week at the International Women's Writing Guild, and for 2 days I did something else, but then I was saying that tomorrow we're going to be putting our grandmothers on the page. And there was a woman who spoke up and said, well, can I just write about my grandfather? And I said, why? And she said, because I just don't feel like I know, or I don't feel connected to my grandmothers. And I said, okay, well, you can write about your grandfather if you want, but We all have grandmothers, and the process of connecting with your grandmother sometimes is really writing into the connection. And the next day she came, and I had given her permission to write into the connection of her grandmother. And she wrote a remarkable piece. She did remember her grandmother, and it was an amazing story. But it's almost like she either didn't know, or she didn't value it, or because it was full of conflict, she couldn't feel connected to it. So we bring a lot of forgetting, a lot of remembering, and a lot of mystery. And we can write into that mystery. We can write into the unknowing. We can write into the longing. And I guarantee it's amazing what you find. And so we begin to solve the grandmother energy and what it means to us and bring it more into our own consciousness. That's what we're going to be doing with putting your grandmothers on the page.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kelly, and everyone. Kelly will be presenting that, I believe, at on Saturday afternoon.
That's right.
Putting our grandmothers on the page. Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate you. All right. Our final presenter is someone that most people here know, Caryn Mirriam-Goldberg. Caryn is the 2009 to 13 Kansas Poet Laureate, the author of 24 books, including The Magic Eye, A Story of Saving a Life, and A Place in the Age of Anxiety, How Time Moves, New and Selected Poems, and Miriam's Well, a novel. Founder of Transformative Language Arts, she is a beloved writing workshop facilitator and writing coach. You can find Caryn kind of all over Power Words, but particularly at launching our Right Livelihood Stories, a panel on the possibilities. Welcome, Caryn.
Thank you so much, Amanda, and thank you for organizing and herding us and putting us together so well. And I'm sorry, I have a very loud Carolina wren who just started yelling. I'm on the porch outside in Lawrence, Kansas. I'm going to read an excerpt from my new book, The Magic Eye, and it's a story of tunneling or journeying through a rare and deadly cancer, eye cancer, while also finding a way to save the land that my husband and I had worked for 35 years to try to save from development. It's not a mystery book. I'm still here. The land is here. But it's very much a story about how we see and how our sight can deepen and widen over a life. And I'm going to read you an excerpt from the epilogue. What we're here for. So your left eye is your bad one, a friend asked. I'm startled yet again by this question. No, it's not bad. It just can't see normally, and it's my right eye. That's the one that had cancer in it. Can you see out of it? Yes, but not what you think. I tried to explain, usually saying something about how lucky I am to be alive and living on this land that also beat the odds. But when it comes to saving a life or a place, it's standard fare to have to learn how to see the world and time recalibrate ourselves. My left eye is my normal eye, taking in everything you'd imagine a normal eye sees, such as the edge of a car bumper where there's a scratch from backing up into a telephone pole one rainy night. It can read faces, tell who's who, and from their gestures or grimaces discern whether good or bad news is knocking on the door. My left eye, well, he's a smart cookie who can read social cues like a rat terrier can ferret out rats. He's canny, sophisticated, at home with a martini or just some overpriced bottled water that's not really from France. He knows how to play poker and win, make artful sushi that doesn't fall apart when you pick it up, and clean the bathroom to perfection, even if I don't do any of those things. My right eye is nothing like him, at least not anymore. They used to be a married set that cleaned up well for the opera together, although they would be the first to tell you I don't go to the opera or even dress up very much. Now the right eye has gone her own way. Is she bad like some 1960s housewife who finally snaps, trades in the wood-paneled station wagon for an orange Volkswagen, packs it to the gills, leaves the kids at her mother's and doesn't tell anyone where she's going? She's not like that at all, although it's hard to tell because her museum of realism is closed. In its place, she beholds paintings by the love children of Pablo Picasso, Gertrude Stein, Meredith Monk, Raina Maria Rilke, Samuel Barber, and Claude Monet. She's sentimental and dreamy, prone to thinking floaters are angels and angles are animals. She sees curled bits of transparent string wound around each other, drifting right to left. She reads the darker places on a face as either a crater or a mouth, a set of black holes or a pair of eyes, a chin or a slope into infinity. But it's not about what she sees or doesn't see. It's so much more than what she sees or doesn't see. The right eye feels the world in such a tender and vulnerable way that she can hardly stop crying when I put her in charge. She glimpses a television commercial about a credit card company helping a little boy replace a stolen bike, and she tears up at the glory of it. She carries a chipped cup of herbal tea to the backyard, where she sits on a green iron chair, cherishing the way wind leans down the generous branches of summer. She is quiet without agenda in a way I could never be. We don't see things as they are. We see them as we are, Anais Nin wrote. How are we made? From stardust and dirt, shit and bones, climate and climate change, toxins and medicines, the damage and the cure. Healing is part of us and the earth, made of ordinary and rare time, weather, and place. Replant what was once a native tallgrass prairie and let the rotation of the earth for 12,000 years do the rest, whether humans are here to welcome it or not. Find the injury and do something about it. We're a tangle of interconnections from the racing threads of synapses across tree lines and behind eyes, which brings me back to the earth, and more specifically to this land where we live, which has its own tumbles and tangles, big things to see through small eyes. Awake and upright, my right eye looks through an opaque and mottled screen. My left eye scrambles up a loose rocked hill for some solid ground. How many times can one eye recalibrate to another? How many times can we forgive each other, or even harder, ourselves? Infinite times, or something close to it. My magic eye, like all eyes, a kind of nebula in deep space, both a stellar remnant blown to smithereens and a womb for the next round of new stars, a badge of honor, an emblem of survival, a startling new creature able to see beyond sight, but also a sacrifice gladly given to trade for more time. My eyes and I wearily and longingly search for the path in the dark to find my way back whenever I'm lost. This is my life, but it's not quite or really mine. This is the life I get to inhabit, part of the land that inhabits us. We are here to save each other. And I know, Amanda, you brought up the workshop that I'm doing, and I'll say
Yes.
something about that in a moment, but I'm also giving a short talk called You Are My People and I Am Yours, TLA in Tender and Tumultuous Times, about, in some ways, what we're doing right here, what happens when we really listen to each other and speak our truths. And
Beautiful.
the workshop, I know that Elaine McMillan is here too. She's part of it, as well as Catherine Lorenzen and Scott Yeomans. And it's a panel on launching our right livelihood stories. And one thing we're really focusing on in this workshop is what are some of the inner obstacles we have to overcome to do the work that we've been born to do.
Thank you so much, Caryn. I am super excited to hear your new work, and I believe you can buy the book on your website. Is that correct?
Yes, and I'll have them also at the conference.
Of course. And we're coming close to time, but I want to say thank you for always organizing, not always organizing the Power Words, maybe always organizing the Power,
Yeah.
mostly organizing us as transformative language artists. For those of you who don't know, Caryn was my mentor at Goddard College when I got my master in transformative language arts. And yesterday she sent me a photo from my graduation 15 years ago.
So young, so young.
Like much fewer gray hairs. But my first Power Awards was 2007 at Goddard, and I am super excited to be in community with you again and with everybody here who is able to come. And thank you all to all of the presenters for sharing their work and thoughts today. If you can give everybody a round of applause or hands. We're used to doing this in Zooms now. Thank you to Tracy Nichols, the TLAN coordinator who does the registration and announcements for this event, and to Elizabeth Shepley, who valiantly took on the role of event monitor at the very last minute. So thank you so much, Elizabeth. If you're interested in volunteering for the next virtual salon, please contact Tracy at tlan.coordinator@gmail.com so we can have a chat. And to all of you, if this is your first TLAN event or if you're a longtime supporter, thank you so much for being here. This event was stunning, amazing. If you see yourself in the work or the conversation that you experienced today, please consider joining us at the Power of Words conference in Kansas City in October. Multiple ways to get your fee discounted. You can find on the website. And thank you. We hope to see you in October. Thank you, everybody.